We have 6 things to talk about, starting with number 1. Nasreddin Nabi has asked Kaizer Chiefs to appoint Fernando Cruz as part of his technical team. Now this is huge because Fernando Cruz is a Portuguese French coach who was the coach of AS FAR, the team that Nasreddin Nabi is currently coaching before Nabi went to the team. Now the interesting thing about this coach is that he wasn't even the coach of AS FAR. He was just like a technical director, but then the coach of AS FAR left the team, and then the coach filled in and he coached and he won the league. He wasn't even the coach then, to a point that the team was so good that he won the league, but he left even before winning the league. And then Nasreddin Nabi, when he came to AS FAR, he realized, wow, this team is really good. The foundations that this coach left here are pretty impressive. And they've never worked together. He just looked at the work that he did and is like, you know what? This man right here is vibing. And because of that, he has asked Chiefs to do that and appoint that coach. And guess what? They have appointed him, according to SAPC Sport. And he's actually going to arrive before Nabi to start preparing the boys for when Nabi comes. Remember, Chiefs are starting training on the 21st, while management comes back on the 20th, which means the person who will be with the players is Cruz, and then Nabi will come on next week. I am just excited. I can't stop smiling because I'm looking at how much authority Nabi is just bringing. Like, I want this coach, I want that coach, I want this technical team. It's like, wow. So that is the first thing. The second thing is obviously the fact that Utumisang Orobanye is the second person who is wanted by Nasreddin Nabi. Who is this guy? This guy is a Botswana person. He's a Botswana. He's from Botswana. He's 28, and right now he's currently playing for AS FAR, right? And he plays across the front line, and he arrived at AS FAR the beginning of this year from Algeria, from FC Algiers that plays in Algeria, obviously. So coming into AS FAR, he impressed Nasreddin Nabi, and then Nabi's like, hey, I like this boy. I want Kaizer Chiefs to sign him. This is a report according to Unplayable that Chiefs are saying, hey, we want this player, not Chiefs, Nasreddin Nabi rather, is saying, I want to bring this player with me. So I wonder if Chiefs are going to allow him, because I do believe that, while we're here, I remember I was watching another presentation by SAPC, and Umazola of SAPC was reporting that Nasreddin Nabi will be allowed flexibility on who he wants to bring in and who he wants to release. I was blown away. I'm like, Kaizer Chiefs, we do that now. We allow coaches to bring the players that they want. It's impressive. It's maturity, I guess. So it's not all the way, but he will be allowed a certain freedom. So I guess that's why we've not seen Chiefs finalizing who's coming and who's leaving. So that is why even with this player, Utumisang Orobanye is actually a possible signing. I do think it's a bit tricky though, because it will cost around 9 million, and remember, he arrived at AS FAR in January, which is going to make things a bit tricky. But speaking of players who could be coming or going, leaving Kaizer Chiefs, Mike McCabe, the agent of Samgelo Zwane, said when he was speaking on Kakas FM that he thinks that Kaizer Chiefs will keep Samgelo Zwane, because whether Samgelo Zwane leaves or stays depends on the coach who's coming, which makes me go, we are so grateful, because now that means the coach is going to observe the boys, starting with their Cruz, looking at them in the first sessions that he's going to have with them, and Nabi is going to also come and say, I like this boy, so keep him. So that's great to know that the players are being kept. Now we're halfway there, so before we continue with the video, if you've been watching this video and you're enjoying this video, you're finding value in this video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and you can also become a member. It's only 20 rands per month. Click on the link that's on the description or on the first comment, or just click on join that is written there, and then you can just become a member. It helps you to get a sticker next to your name, and I prioritize comments from members because you do help the channel run. Anyways, let's move on and talk about the next thing, which is Ulebo Mothiba, who was seen at Naturena. Yes, we've said this. Now Latuma reporting that he has not signed but is negotiating with Kaizer Chiefs. And the main reason why, apparently, according to this report, he is being talked to, well, he is a good striker according to Chiefs, but above and over that, they also think he's a good, experienced player who the young players could look up to and say, you've been to Europe, help us go to Europe, things like that, and play with them as well, because he does have the ability. There is a small Taniana problem, which is there is a fear of how bad is his injury. Is his injury not going to affect the output and how much available he will be for the club? That's the only thing the Chiefs are worried about, and that's actually a thing that I'm worried about, over and above the fact that I think his contract situation, he might be a bit expensive to pay. But let's talk about the next thing, which is Itiski Times are reporting that Margerman, the player who currently plays for SuperSport United, the central midfielder, is wanted there by Naturen. Well, more so monitored, because we know that his contract ends in 2026 and we're in 2024, which means he still has 2 years in his contract, and most likely there's an option to extend by further year. And as I mentioned, he's playing for SuperSport United, and when I say SuperSport United, think Tebu Homkwena, think Sipombule, the players the Chiefs tried to get from SuperSport and they ended up not getting. So I think as much as they might be monitoring him, I think this is one of those moves that are just not going to happen, because the relationship between Kaizer Chiefs and SuperSport United is actually not that great. Now, let's talk about the other situation, which is another situation about a player that Kaizer Chiefs were reportedly going to sign, and there is Ukeleto Magalwa. And the way they reported this, all the journalists in January were like, yes, he's definitely coming to Kaizer Chiefs, so write that. And then Kaizer Mtaung Jr. said, nope, that's definitely not happening. And since he said that's not happening, well, it hasn't happened. And now the teams that have been linked with him, the likes of Sekukune, the likes of, who else was linked with him? The other teams that were trying to get him. Now, the team that has finally gotten him is Sekukune. So now we can kind of close that chapter and say Keleto Magalwa is not coming to Kaizer Chiefs because, well, he's going to Sekukune United. I do have some questions for you though. Starting with number one, do you think that this would be a good idea for Chiefs to have like big coaches like Cruz, who was also a coach who won the league himself? Is it going to help with the star power, or do you think it might actually cause some clashes? Number two is with the power that Unabi is being given, do you agree with all the power? Like the coach must make decisions, he must make all the decisions, because we're all excited about Nabi coming, or most of us are, but there's always a possibility of things not going well. Do you think that it's a right decision by Chiefs to just say, yeah, bring all the technical team you want, bring all the players that you want? And number three is, do you still think signing Mothiba would be a good idea given his age, his injury, and the amount of money the Chiefs might pay him? And given that Nazareth Nabi might be arriving with other players, do you think that players like Abu Samgelo Zwane need to perhaps be sent out on a loan? Because I do feel that with Nabi coming with so many people to the club, he is probably expected to hit the ground running and win at least one cup. Because if it doesn't, then people are going to be like, so what was all the freedom for if you were not able to get us even a single cup? Do let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, Khosi, I'll pay you more.